In the heart of a bustling city where skyscrapers pierced the sky like unyielding ambitions, Elena Thompson, the iron-willed CEO of a multi-million-dollar tech empire, stood frozen on the edge of a sun-dappled playground, her world shattering in the most unexpected way. For years, she had built walls around her heart, channeling every ounce of her grief and determination into boardroom battles and late-night strategies, all while carrying the silent burden of her 5-year-old daughter, Lily, who hadn't uttered a single word since the tragic accident that stole her father's life 2 years prior. Doctors called it selective mutism, a fortress of trauma that no therapy session or specialist could breach, leaving Elena to navigate a life of echoing silences and unspoken pleas, until that fateful afternoon when a stranger, a single dad with weary eyes and a gentle smile, knelt before Lily on the swings and coaxed from her lips the first word she had spoken in what felt like an eternity, a simple, hello, that echoed like thunder in Elena's soul. If you believe in the power of kindness and the magic of second chances, hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing your own story of unexpected miracles, share this video with someone who needs a reminder that hope can bloom anywhere, and don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Speaks for more tales that warm the heart and inspire the spirit. Your support keeps these stories alive. Elena's days were a relentless whirlwind of power suits and high-stakes decisions, her office a glass fortress overlooking the city that never slept, much like her own restless mind. She had risen to the top through sheer grit, transforming a small startup into a tech giant that revolutionized communication apps, ironically, while her own home echoed with the profound absence of words. Lily, with her wide blue eyes that mirrored her late father's, communicated through gestures and drawings, her small hands sketching worlds of color and emotion that Elena cherished like lifelines. But beneath the polished exterior of success, Elena wrestled with a gnawing guilt, replaying the night of the car crash over and over, the screech of tires, the shattering glass, the way her husband's last words had been a whispered, "I love you," before silence claimed everything. She had thrown herself into work as a shield, hiring nannies and therapists, but nothing pierced the veil of Lily's mutism, each failed session chipping away at Elena's hope until she felt like a hollow vessel, pouring her love into a child who responded only with hugs and tears. The playground visits had started as a desperate ritual, a therapist's suggestion to expose Lily to the joyful chaos of other children, hoping that the laughter and play might unlock something deep within her. Elena would sit on a nearby bench, her phone buzzing with urgent emails, watching as Lily swung alone or built solitary sandcastles, her little face a mask of quiet observation amid the squeals of her peers. It was on one such ordinary Saturday, the air crisp with the scent of blooming cherry blossoms and distant traffic hum, that Elena decided to linger longer than usual, her schedule cleared for once in a rare act of maternal rebellion against her calendar. She pushed Lily on the swing, the rhythmic creak a soothing metronome against the backdrop of giggling toddlers and watchful parents, but inside, Elena's heart ached with the familiar sting of isolation, wondering if this would be another day of unspoken longing. As the sun climbed higher, casting golden hues over the playground's worn equipment, a man approached with his own child in tow, a boy about Lily's age, with tousled hair and an infectious energy that seemed to light up the space around him. The man, Alex, moved with the quiet confidence of someone who had known hardship, his faded jeans and simple t-shirt speaking of a life far removed from Elena's corporate polish. He was a single dad, she would later learn, a carpenter who had lost his wife to illness just a year after their son, Max, was born, rebuilding his world one wooden creation at a time while juggling parenthood and grief. Alex knelt beside Max as the boy scampered toward the swings, his voice soft and encouraging, drawing Elena's fleeting attention before she returned to her thoughts. But then, something shifted. Max toddled over to Lily, holding out a small toy truck with a beaming smile, and instead of retreating into her shell as she always did, Lily paused, her eyes locking onto the boys with a curiosity that bordered on wonder. Elena watched, her breath catching, as Alex noticed the interaction and joined his son, his posture open and unassuming, like a gentle breeze inviting trust. He spoke to Lily not as if she were broken, but as if she were simply a child waiting to be heard, his words weaving tales of imaginary adventures where trucks could fly and swings touched the clouds. There was no pressure in his tone, no clinical probing, just a warmth that seemed to melt the invisible barriers around Lily's heart. Elena froze on the spot, her designer handbag slipping from her shoulder unnoticed, as Lily's lips parted ever so slightly, her tiny voice emerging like a fragile butterfly from its cocoon. A hesitant truck whispered so softly it might have been the wind, but Alex heard it, his eyes widening in shared astonishment before he nodded encouragingly, handing over the toy without fanfare. The moment hung in the air like a suspended breath, Elena's world tilting on its axis as tears blurred her vision, her mind racing through a torrent of emotions, disbelief, joy, fear that it was a fluke. She approached slowly, her heels sinking into the soft grass, introducing herself with a voice that trembled despite her boardroom training. Alex rose, his smile kind and devoid of judgment, sharing briefly about his own losses and how play had become his anchor in raising Max. They talked as the children played side by side, Lily's gestures growing more animated, her occasional whispers, swing, fast, punctuating the air like precious gems unearthed after years in the dark. Elena felt a crack in her armored heart, the weight of her isolation lifting just a fraction as she realized this stranger had achieved in minutes what experts had failed to do in months, all through the simple act of genuine connection. In the days that followed, Elena found herself returning to the playground with a mix of anticipation and dread, her structured life suddenly infused with unpredictability. She rearranged meetings to coincide with Alex's schedule, which he shared casually over a shared bench, his stories of woodworking and single parenthood painting him as a man who had turned pain into purpose. Lily began to seek out Max, her words emerging in fits and starts, play, friend, each one a victory that brought Elena to her knees in private moments of overwhelming gratitude. But challenges loomed like shadows. Elena's work demands pulled at her, late nights threatening to reclaim her time, while doubts crept in. Was this progress real, or tied only to this serendipitous encounter? Alex, too, carried his burdens, confiding in quiet conversations about the loneliness of raising a child alone, the financial strains of his trade, and the fear that he wasn't enough for Max. As weeks turned into a tentative routine, the playground became a sanctuary where walls crumbled. Elena witnessed Lily's laughter for the first time, a sound like tinkling bells that echoed through her dreams, sparked by Max's antics and Alex's playful inventions, a makeshift fort from branches, a story told with animated gestures. Yet, tension built as Elena grappled with vulnerability. She had always been the fixer, the leader, but here, she was learning to receive help, to let kindness bridge the gaps in her life. One afternoon, storm clouds gathered metaphorically and literally, as a heated work call interrupted their playtime, Elena's sharp tone cutting through the air like lightning, causing Lily to retreat into silence once more. Heartbroken, Elena apologized profusely, but it was Alex's steady presence, his hand on her shoulder, his reassurance that setbacks were part of healing, that reignited the spark, teaching her that true strength lay in shared burdens. The turning point came on a rainy evening when Elena invited Alex and Max over for dinner, her sleek apartment feeling oddly alive with the chaos of children. As they shared a simple meal, Lily's words flowed more freely. More, thank you, culminating in a bedtime story where she echoed Alex's tales, her voice gaining strength like a river finding its course. Elena watched, tears streaming silently, as the man who had entered their lives as a stranger became a beacon of hope, his own heart mending through the unexpected family they were forming. Challenges persisted. Elena's board questioned her shifting priorities. Alex faced a job loss that tested his resilience. But together, they navigated the storms, their bond deepening into something profound, a love born from empathy and second chances. Months later, as autumn leaves carpeted the playground where it all began, Lily chatted animatedly about her day at preschool, her mutism a distant memory replaced by the vibrant chatter of a child reborn. Elena, no longer the isolated CEO but a woman embracing life's messiness, stood hand in hand with Alex, their children swinging in unison, a testament to the miracles that unfold when hearts open. The journey had been fraught with emotional tempests, But in the end, it wove a tapestry of healing that inspired all who witnessed it, reminding the world that sometimes, the greatest breakthroughs come not from power or plans, but from the quiet kindness of a fellow traveler. If this story has touched your heart and stirred emotions deep within, please like, comment, and share it far and wide. Let's spread the message that kindness can change lives. And before we end, I have a special request. Comment below with the one line from this story that moved you the most, or share how kindness has spoken in your own life. Subscribe to Kindness Speaks for more stories that remind us of the beauty in human connection.